Some people, man. Some people. I want to tell you a little story about today's video. I got a buddy. He's a great buddy. He's a good guy. I've been playing D&D with him for a while. I'm finally a player with him. I used to be his dungeon master, but now we're players together. We're a team. We work well together, I thought. And I always like to make dice for my friends. Say, you know what? I'm going to make this guy some dice. He deserves it. He's a good dude. And he just got married. What a great coincidence. What a great occasion. Mazel tov, love is forever, all that. And I ask him, I says, buddy, what are your three favorite colors? He says back, red, gold, and black for sure. Those are my three favorite colors, for sure. I get to work on the dice, right? Tell you a little story as we go along here. I've been making a lot of shell dice lately, like I did in my last video, but I want to make things a little bit simpler. Let's get out some mica flakes, gold mica powder, black pigment powder, and some red mica powder. We're also going to go back to using just some normal dice molds. These are the raised cap molds that I made in a previous video. I'll link that in the top right now in case you want to learn how to make your own molds. And I have a bunch of extra D20 molds. I've got this Stuart Simple black pigment powder. It's the darkest stuff that you can pretty much commercially buy, and I've got a bunch of Q-tips. They're way easier than using paintbrushes, and you won't get pigment all over the place. I take a Q-tip, dip it down into the pigment, and try and knock off the rest of the excess pigment. Now, really knock off the rest, otherwise you'll get this happening, which is where some of the pigment will just, because of all the static, kind of go wherever it wants inside the silicone molds, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm trying to make little black spots. The theme that I'm going for this is kind of hellish looking. I want it to look like hell, right? I want it to look very evil with the red and the black, and there will be some gold swirls, but I also want it to be magical, right? So this black marks are supposed to be like black marks on the soul, or just ash and brimstone and things that just look evil in general. And as I paint this on the outside or inside of these molds, they will show up on the dice later as we pour resin. I also put it on the lids of the molds. That's pointless. Don't worry about that. I'll show you why that's pointless later, and any of the extra D20 molds that I have as well. Thought it was a great idea, incorporates all his favorite colors. It's something I haven't done before, wanted to see how it turned out, and I think it's going to be good. I don't know, but I think it's going to be good. Time to start mixing up the resin. I put some parchment paper down to not make a mess and put some gloves on for protection, and I'm going to be using Envirotex Light Resin. It's a equal parts by volume resin for both resin and the hardener. I mix up 50 milliliters total, so that's 25 milliliters of the resin, 25 milliliters of the hardener. That's not near enough. I actually cannot fill all the molds that I want to, but I mix it up, and after I mix it up, I pour about a third of it off because I'm going to use multiple colors here. With the vast majority, I want it to be this red, always a bridesmaid red mica powder, and I'm going to throw in some of these mica flakes. I know you won't see them very much, but I want them to just kind of peek through the red every now and again. I want the red to seem more like a mystical fire than just a normal fire, right? That kind of gives it more hellish and, you know, D&D vibes. I'm hoping that the gold kind of looks like it's being overtaken by the fire and the black marks. At least that's the plan anyway. Oh God, that was a mistake. Oh no. Why did I do that? Oh, it's all over me. But you know, things don't always go according to plan anyway. This gold mica powder is the same gold mica powder that I had whenever I originally started making dice, and I'm still using it to this day because you just don't need all that much of it whenever you're making dice. I mix it in with the resin, a decent bit of it, because I want it to be a pretty strong gold. Again, this is the small amount of resin that I have left because I kind of want it to be mostly red and a little bit less of the gold. I want the gold to be like it's being overtaken by the red. And I'm doing a technique here called mixing them some guns as I pour them. This isn't like the normal dirty pour method where you would kind of pour one on top of the other in a single cup and then pour them. I just kind of want it to be random patterns. So it's not a normal dirty pour. It's just random bits of color here and there. I want it to be less gold, more red, and so I had less gold mixed up. And like I said, I didn't have enough resin for all the molds I wanted to fill, so I only had 3 extra D20s. One of them doesn't end up working out in the end anyway, but I do try pouring it like a normal dirty pour for some of these to see if it turns out okay. It doesn't really change much. You could have done it either way, but I wanted to experiment with the mixing them some guns method. And I pop any of the excess bubbles that I have with a lighter. You should use a heat gun if you have one. And I put my lid on. It's got some latches that I am able to close it with on the silicone, and I squish down any excess resin that comes out, and I'm going to put it inside of my pressure pot. Put all of the molds inside of there at once. They're going to go in there for 24 hours total. I put some extra silicone on the more important molds that has more than just the D20s to help weigh it down. That way there's hopefully very little flashing or rising of edges on here. I hate having to deal with that. I put it in the pressure pot for around 30 psi for 24 hours, bada bing, bada boom, take them out, and the dice pop out just fine. You should wait about 72 hours if you're going to sand them, but you can take them out and make sure that things worked properly. I have a small amount of flashing, but that's all easily sand awayable. You can see the black pigment here that I put on the edge is only on the edges, and it's going to stick on there just fine. You don't really have to worry about that rubbing away with time. They all look fantastic. Super evil looking dice. I love it. They came out super mystical, super mean looking. One of them I poured, I guess, a little too much gold on the bottom in one of the extra D20s and just red on the top. As fortune would have it, I did also make a chunky D20 for him, so we're going to get to experiment with some cool things here. Being that I have an extra D20 and a giant one, we'll make a normal giant chunky D20 and an advantage die by inking it different. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. But we do need to sand them because we have some flashing and it doesn't look very good. So let's get to sanding. I'm going to be using Zona papers here. They're essentially like sandpapers that go to an extremely high grit, so you can get a glass-like polish whenever you do polishing with resin and plastic like this. They work very, very well. I always like to wet sand them so I don't get any resin in the air because that's bad for you and you don't want that. So I just take one side. The benefit of these raised cap molds is you really only have to sand away one side. I sand away until I can see some of those flashing parts gone, right? You want that to be entirely gone on this first set of Zona papers, at least as much as you can. One issue that I do have with these kind of raised cap molds is often those kind of indentations are very far down, and I don't really want to sand away anymore because I will get some weird looking faces. So I'm going to leave it at that. I will have some imperfections, but hey, that's not a big deal to me. The sanding went fantastic. Some of these faces look better than I've ever sanded, especially on this chunky one. And as you sand through, you can actually see some of the mica flakes peeking their way through, which is neat, but it does leave these lines where I had the black pigment, because when you sand away, it's just on the surface of the resin. So any sanding that you do is going to remove that. And so it creates these kind of strong lines. I shouldn't have done that. I should have tried to avoid anywhere that I was going to have to sand. Oh well, all the black's gone on those surfaces, and I should have just known that. There are some imperfections after sanding on some of the faces. It's not a big deal to me. I do like how the black is still kind of matte versus the rest of the dice that's super shiny. It looks very evil and hellish. They turned out pretty darn good. Feeling pretty proud of it. So we'd go to ink them. You know, I'm thinking an inking would be best done in black on these dice, mostly because the burnt spots don't really tie well with the dice. They kind of look like imperfections, but if I make the inking the same color, it'll help tie everything together. I get up my painter's palette here so that I can pour my black Vallejo game color onto the palette. This stuff is really, really deep black. It's got a lot of pigment, so it covers well without having to do multiple coats. You can thin it down with water, and you definitely should if you're painting minis, but you don't really have to whenever you're inking stuff like this. I like to try out different colors on the D6 whenever I'm doing my inking. That way I can really see if they work, because it's a nice large palette. The numbers are the largest on the D6 compared to all the other dice. After I put the paint on, just wipe it away with your finger. That's good enough to get the paint where you want it to go. I try it again with a black background to see if it works. I still like how it looks, even though I know the paint will matte down as it dries. I don't even ink it gold for him. I try and it's not for me. I don't want to ink it gold. It's not for me. It's for a friend. As I go to ink them, I think, you know what? He said red, black, and gold. But is that the order he said it in? Let me check, because I want to ink them black, but I don't know if that's what he wants.
Mia Murray, what's your 2 to 3 favorite colors?
I'd probably say blue, black, gold.
He edited the message. He edited the message. Now it says blue, black, and gold. Excuse me, that said red, black, and gold earlier, fella. You think you know somebody, they go betray you, they edit the message, make you seem dumb, and it's rude. It's what it is. It's rude. So these are my dice now. These are not for him. These are for me. A little treat for me for being a nice person, making some dice for a friend. He'll get some other dice. Well, back to inking my dice then, and I'm going to do what I call an advantage D20. That's where if you have an extra D20, you might as well ink that one a different color, so you always know which one you have at advantage, and you can use those anytime you want. And now that they're my dice again, I'm going to ink the parts that I normally do for my logo gold. I was going to keep those kind of hellish looking for him, but no, they're my dice again. So the gold that my goblin's biting, he's biting gold, and he's green again. Welcome home, buddy. You are always going to be green in my heart, but now you're green for real. Really pleased with the set. There's only so some minor cosmetic issues that I don't care about, but if you did want to fix them, I can show you what they are. You might want to do a second coat of paint on the numbers, like on the D6 or the chunky D20, because they have larger numbers and you can see the color through them. I think it looks burnt and fits the theme of the dice, so I'm going to leave it as is. But there are some streaks of paint that I'm going to get rid of. Take some isopropyl alcohol and a microfiber cloth and just wipe away any of that excess paint. Like, you know, editing a message, you can just wipe it away and it doesn't even matter anymore. It wasn't there. You know what? I'm trying to forgive. I'm trying to forget. I'm trying to get some inner peace about it. But, you know, calming down, it's not exactly a skill that I share. Did somebody say Skillshare? Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. As of late, I've been finding myself needing to learn how to chill out, meditate, or just calm down a little bit. And so with Skillshare's classes and learning paths, it's actually been super easy to learn some real techniques for how to do that. I've had Skillshare for a while, and it's the largest online community for creatives with like literally thousands of classes for things from film to design to drawing or just learning to chill out a little more. I personally like to learn different editing techniques and different ways that I can get cool compositions and shots. I know I might not look it from my videos, but I do like to learn about it from Skillshare, and I'm trying to get a little bit better about it. Honestly, when I was trying to be funny with the how to calm down bit here tying into the video, I actually found this class, Meditation for Action, Boost Your Creativity and Power by Justin Michael Williams. It was super calming and very relaxing, and I needed that on a day when I was not very relaxed or calm. So I highly recommend checking that one out if you're going to check out any class in relation to what I've been saying today. Listen, you know the drill by now. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So go get started today. It'll help me out. It'll help you out. But you know what'll help you out even more is taking a look at these absolutely sexy math rocks. They are so good looking. Really, really happy with how they turned out in the end. My buddy really screwed the pooch on this one because these are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, if they were blue, they wouldn't look as good because they wouldn't have that cool hellish burned vibe. So I'll have to think of something else for when I do make dice for him, because I will make dice for him. There's no hard feelings. I mean, I got a really cool set of dice out of it, and I can roll them at the table and be like, look what you could have had, man. Teasing aside, he's a great dude. I will make some dice for him, and let me know in the comments down below with blue, black, and gold, what style dice should I make for him? It'd be cool to have some ideas from you guys. That way I can make something for him. And while you're commenting that, listen to these devilishly good looking dice. It's a darn shame I'm not playing my Tiefling Warlock with the Fiend patron, because these would be absolutely perfect for him. I always have them in the back now because they are my dice, but let me know what you think about having an advantage die with a different color inking. I really like that concept a lot. I always like a big chunky D20 to have in there as well, and let me know if you like this set as a whole anyway. I think that turned out really cool. We've done this technique before where we put the pigments on the side. We might have even done this kind of black pigment before, but never tried to make it look so devilishly interesting. And some of that pigment that kind of flew off on its own made the whole thing look even more burned. So maybe I should have intentionally done that. I don't know. I just know that they turned out really good looking, and I'm really happy with them, and I hope that you are too. So like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. I want to hear that too. I definitely tried some new things in this video, some stylistic changes. I had a lot of fun with it. So let me know if you like that, because if so, I can do some more stuff like that. It was fun. Go ahead and check and see if you're subscribed, and if you're not, hit that button. I'm talking about you, Alex. I know you haven't hit that button, so go ahead and just make sure that you do that. Either way, I hope that you all have a fantastic day.